all this is shit. Some of this shit I've been given. Some of this shit was just broken, tossed, that people said throw it away. Some bits I bought. Some bits are mine. I can tell you that all this stuff here, this has cost in the region of maybe 200 quid. We've got a complete E&C gearbox. That is the platinum type. That came out of a PMC that was just fucked. Absolutely fucked. So that was no good. So I've ripped the gearbox out and swapped the gearbox out and changed the bits I didn't like. So that is almost free. The cost of that E&L, I paid 180 quid for it. They're what, 450 quid? It didn't work, granted, it was very, very poor. This is fucked beyond all belief. So I put a new gearbox in it. There's screws missing and shit like that. But got a new gearbox inside that gun and I sold it and I got my money back and I made a little bit of profit as well, and I kept a few of the bits and pieces and spare parts. So that brings my budget up a little bit. Fuck me. I think I paid 75 quid for it. Haven't tried it, don't need to. A nice man who loves his Western Arms shit like I do basically said, can you fix my AK? And I said, yeah, sure, I'll have a look. And obviously there's no fixing this AK. It's beyond fucked. Really, really bad. It's just fucking ruined. But hop unit and barrel, who's to say? This is the gearbox that was in it. It's trashed. Really trashed, so that's no good. That's the bipod from the SVD thing. That'll go in something else. That is, I think I paid about 5 quid for that entire. That's an original SEMA. Back when SEMA was putting these inside, fucking hell, what was it? The original LCT, I'm going to say. This one was a Boneyard. That was 85 quid from Patrol Base. As you can see, it was Boneyard, came with that pistol grip. They call it heavily battle worn. It's got the wrong stock in it for a start, so that stock isn't correct for this here. Obviously that is just terrible. I don't know what the fuck is going on. It looks like it's 3D printed, possibly. Loads of dust, loads of dirt, loads of grime, but apparently it does function. Now these AK parts, these are going to be JG most likely. All that crap I paid a coffee for from A2 Supplies. And there's a few of the bits and bobs that it did come with. Then we've got the stock. That stock is from the SVD. Obviously, it ain't an SVD, but I'm going to do something with that, put it on a completely different gun, get all that super glue that's all over it, and make that a lot nicer. And that'll go into a completely different gun. Then we get to the interesting shit. I've got umpteen of these from builds that I've done. I can't remember what that's from. I ain't got a clue. And then wood kits. Now, some of these bits are APS. Some of them are not. Some are SEMA. Some are D-Boys. And I've got fuck tons of it. Absolutely fuck tons of it. Not this Speedsoft bullshit. It looks like a crap gun, but it's not. I mean a gun that's actually usable and stuff you'd be proud to call your own. Back when yeah, that's how I feel as well. Back when I started the channel, I do loads of stuff just using cheap old tat, you know, just loads of old tat. And what I want to do out of this, I want to get at least 4 working guns out of all the shit I've got here. At least 4 working guns. And I'm going to donate into it my own SEMA. And this is the exact one from my Don't Buy a TM Recall Part 2 video. This is the exact gun. It's very well used now. Out of this big pile of shit, I intend to make at least 4 complete working guns that are all unique. All work and are all wonderful. And I'm doing this all for me. I might even sell some at the end, I don't know. Keep an eye on my webpage, because I am going to be adding to my webpage shit that I don't need anymore, stuff that no one else is going to use, stuff that I've paid for myself, I think is worth noting, stuff I pay for myself that you can possibly buy from, and that'll be going live very shortly. So the next thing you'll see is all the stuff that I've built out is crap, and this awesome gun. Okay, ignore that shit in there. I'm just testing fitment of my little ETU thingies. Now check out these clips. They were a gift from Peter over at AK2M4. Check out his little shop. Useful shit on there. Ignore the schmut all over everything because I'm just testing functionality of this unit for the time being. Haven't shimmed it yet, haven't cleaned it up, just testing. So completely standard setup, nothing changed. M130 spring. Only thing changed, that. Cool, right? I think worth pointing out to start with is that Boneyard guns are not always the deal that they seem. Now, when you look at the cost of Boneyard stuff, the websites are selling, retailers are selling, they're selling it because it's not worth them bothering doing anything to fix them up. Now, a lot of times, the price that is attached to that Boneyard item is a fucking joke. It's a fucking joke. Especially like myself, if you've got trade accounts, if you know how much stuff costs, you look at the price of it and go, fucking hell. So, first things first, if you're going to buy some Boneyard shit, do a bit of research first. Because 99.9% of the time, it just ain't worth the time and effort you're putting in. So, don't spend the money unless you have spare parts for that gun lying around and it's a fucking insanely good deal, alright? With that said, ignore that. There's the first one. Aside from the top cover, the mag, the wood at the front, the flash hider, everything else here was salvaged from a gun that somebody said, hey, can you fix it? And I've gone, fuck no, I can't fix it, not for any decent amount of money. Yes, I've built something out of what was remaining of that nice man's gun, but that's because I've got this stuff lying around. And in terms of actually making it into a working gun, you know, this thing would have cost him more than buying a new one because these are parts of mine, it's the time it took me to do it. So it wouldn't be worth it for the guy. It'd literally be half the price for him to go and buy another AKSU. But we've got the folding stock, we've got the wood on it. You might notice it's tatty as fuck. I'm leaving it tatty as fuck, I don't care. There you go. Now every single one of these guns is going to have my little ETUE fucking MOSFET-y thing inside it, and I'm going to be sharing just one Perrin ETU MOSFET between the lot of them because I don't fucking use them. So I only need them to work, and just change out the MOSFET is just click click, so who cares, right? It's a working gun, it fires at about 250 feet per second. It's not great. It's not great, but it is a working gun. Now, if you only have a few quid lying around, this would have cost you far too much to try and make into this gun. But because I've got shit lying around in abundance, I couldn't sell this to anybody. You know, I couldn't do it. I can tell you this button here, it works, but it is glued in place because the thread is knackered. The stock works perfectly fine, you know, but it is just glued in. And this is made up of about fucking 7 different guns. So you've got JG, SEMA, Kalash, D-Boys, same thing. Gearbox in it is fuck knows what I've made out of. It's a TM grip, I think. Just stuff. But there we go. You can do something with Boneyard shit. If you've got the time and if you've got the parts. If you wanted this built for yourself, ain't worth the money. Ain't worth the money. Next. This one here is entirely, again, made out of stuff I had lying around. I had this receiver lying around. I had this trunnion lying around. I had this barrel. This is from, God, look at it. There's these little cuts here. That's because it's from a plastic fucking, who makes it? Avengers AK mag pulley thing. I think the only thing metal on the entire fucking gun is actually this trunnion and that there. The rest of it is all stuff I had lying around. I did have to source the grip. Had to find one of those out. And then the stock as well. All that, these had to match to make it worthwhile. Now I paid money for the wood, but I have restained the wood. It does look quite nice, as you can see. I have restained it. That's APS wood, but one of my connections in Hong Kong they had this for about £3 a set. So I went, yep, fine, I bought loads of sets of wood. So I've got more in case I need them. Again, same as the last one, it's got my little ECU switchy thing in it. One MOSFET to share between them all. Said fucking Gandalf, the Airsofter. And there she is. The hilarious part of it is, as you can see, this receiver is basically brand new because it's still got the stickers on it. And that is a Golden Eagle AMD 65 receiver. I've had that in a bag for a couple of 3 years, I guess. I thought, fuck it, I'll do something with it. Gearbox, piece of trash. Really, really knackered piece of trash. Oh, it's fucking tight. And this is the thing with Boneyard guns, they're never going to be fucking mint, mate. So that is a hell of a push to get that cover off. Trust me, you can see by the state of that trigger, everything else looks brand new. Because they're basically brand new parts I've had lying around. But you can see the inside of that gearbox, they ain't going to be fucking brand new. But of course it does work and it's shimmed and yada yada yada. Everything works on it as it should. Click, over, done. Lovely, right? Next. Now, I said I was donating into the mix my old Don't Buy a TM Recoil AK. And if you fancy a giggle, you can have one. Again, I kept, I think the gearbox came out of the one that was already in here, went into something else. So there's one of the other guns that's got a Warfare in it. Now I think about it, it's got the Warfare in. But this is all sort of wired in as normal. This might even be the gearbox has the Warfare in. I can't fucking remember. But there we go. Funny, right? I thought, let's go a little more far out. I found a picture on the internet I quite liked. It looks like this. I decided to do this. It was initially going to be Cerakote, but I didn't know if I was going to like it or not, so I didn't bother. So I airbrushed it. And it came out nice, and I thought, well, fuck it. I'm never going to use it. It's not going to get scratched or damaged, so I'm going to keep it like this. And that's what I'm doing. And I think that's very funny. Because why not? Next. Now this one's going to be a little more difficult because I can't get the whole thing in the picture. Can't get the whole thing in the picture. Oopsie doodle. Sorry. Now, I was kind of going for something, if you've seen Commando, you've seen Arnie's got a Velmet in it, and it's a very cool gun. I've never seen that exact stock for sale anywhere, so I thought, well, let's just go for a little bit of a Velmet style gun. Initially, I was going to put a 203 launcher on it, but I decided not to because I actually quite like the way it looks, which makes me a little bit sick, but it also makes me a little bit happy as well. Check it out. It's a big fucking gun. It ain't ever gonna fit in the fucking screen. There's no way. That's a big fucking gun. But the only things on this gun that are metal is the top cover, the outer barrel, the front sight. Fuck me, what else? That's metal. The bipod's metal. Actually, to be honest, I'm lying like a cheap watch. The
Low battery. Please charge.
Go fuck yourself. Pushy bitch. So, actually, now I think about it, the only things on it that are plastic are this section here, the body, the stock, the handguard bits. Everything else is kind of metal. It's the same as the TM. Now, the bits I don't like about it, I've had to use 2 rounded screws in the bottom of there because they're very slightly off the way I've had to build it. So, what are you going to do? But there you go. I guess it's a mag pulley, Velmety, AK-ish sort of RPK thing. It does stand up. Bipod works. Yay. I think it's my favourite one that I've done, actually. Again, none of this is meant to be fucking good. It's meant to be a case of, well, you know, if you put the effort in, you can do it. You could spend almost fuck all if you've got loads of spare parts and buy the cheapest of the cheap. The guy I got this from, the original gun, it was the JG Dragunov that doesn't look anything like a Dragunov. I only bought the gun because I wanted the stock, so I didn't care about the internal condition of the gun. But it was amusing when you buy a gun that's a little bit, yeah, it works, sure, kinda. You know, I knew it wasn't gonna be great, but when you see the inside of it and you go, oh, fuck off. You know, you go, oh, fuck shit. I think I threw most of that gearbox away, it was so bad. But there we go. Oh, fucking hell, closing it up. Again, it's cheap as a bitch, so it is a fucking asshole to close that with one fucking cunty. Do you know what? I'm going to leave that. Now we're going to move on to my favourite one. This is the fucking D-Boys double bell AK that I got from Patrol Base. Trouble is, when you go drinking in Portugal, a lot of people do this. They drink some stuff and they go, oh, this gun is quite, buy it. And they buy the cheap shit. So I bought this cheap shit from Patrol Base. And I've changed out a couple of parts. Charging handle, it required the pistol grip, blah, 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 blah. But I've gone all out. Now, the reason I bought it in the first place is because I could tell, although they described it, I mean, it was like 90 quid, 85 quid for the gun. If you go to the right place, you could just buy it for that fucking price. You know, it's not the end of the world. But including shipping and shit, it was around the same price as buying, but including shipping, it's around the same price as buying new. So I did notice that the stock on it was incorrect. It definitely had the correct wood furniture on the front end, and the whole thing was fucking, even the pictures you could see on the website, it was packed with mud. But the stock on it was wrong. It was definitely an LCT stock. I saw that straight away. So whether they know that or not, don't know, don't care. So I thought, well, the wood don't match. The LCT stock is lovely, but it's the wrong colour. But it's a good stock. But it ain't going to match the front end. I don't have any wood that's going to match, so what am I going to do about it? Here's where the green fingers come into play. Now, to say that I'm not happy with this would be a fucking lie, because obviously it looks fucking epic. You know it, I know it, that's amazing. So I changed up the top cover, because the top cover, they described the whole thing as heavily worn. It's not, that's the original receiver. It wasn't heavily worn at all. There was a couple of dents, I think I'm going to see one here, in the stock, that's all it was. The furniture didn't match between the two, it's different manufacturers. There was no pistol grip, and it was fucking thick with mud. I thought the gas tube was 3D printed, it's not, it's just bad. The only thing that was weathered up was this here, the top cover. So I changed that out to a brand new top cover I had lying around. There we go. Now, I did have to rush this through a little bit. So there's a couple of bits where you can see the original stain. That's a little bit annoying. But that was my cool American person voice, in case you missed it. You know the ones that kind of sound like they're running out of charge. It's not like this, and they know what you're doing, and they're not like that. You know, put those fuckers on charge, or don't. Only bit of this that I really changed, I thought, well, fuck it, I want a silver bolt handle. This came out of the JG. So although it's rear wired for the battery up here, it does mean that here there has to be normally a metal tube that holds this kind of thing in place as a weight. I don't have that in there, but it is just a metal tube. There's a tray that lays in it, but obviously it won't fit on this receiver. But you can see I've not painted the receiver, I've literally cleaned it off. He says getting some of the oil that's coming through on it. Whoopsie doodle. Now, bearing in mind, the flash hider came off the JG Dragoner thingy. The rear sights came off of whatever, I don't know what it came from. Top cover was lying around. All of this stuff, I was a scratch here, never mind. All this stuff, it was actually, once you got the mud off, it was in pretty good condition. And inside of the gun, again, I just changed out the switchy parts, reshimmed it, that was it. So, I'm really happy with that, actually. I'm really pleased with that. That's cool as a motherfucker. I've not had an AK with the green wood furniture before, so I spent some money getting some decent varnish and then sanding all the fucking original finish off and then just adding some detailing to it, because when you sand the wood down, you can see that although this is the same manufacturer in the same place, it's cheap as shit, so it doesn't match in grain. So the idea is to make the grain on there. So what I did is I sanded the whole thing down, removed all of the original finish, and then laid down a very thin layer of the green. It comes out fucking nothing at all. So then you take your blowtorch and you just very gently and slowly go over it sideways. And normally when you polish it on, you go with the grain. In this case, I went against the grain sideways so that I could then run this blowtorch and it just picks up all the grain and it just makes it match a little bit better. And then back here, I've had to use the blowtorch to get some more in there. So here is burnt on. because it just is. I imagine I just burnt that shape on. You can see the original grain here and here. That's original grain, but back here to match this with that, I did some burning on here with the blowtorch, and then you go over the whole thing, add about 19,000 layers of it, and then that's it basically. It looks really cool. I don't have the gas tube for it. I didn't point out in one of these actually, hang on. That's a gas tube from an M4 sat right there, because I don't have any cleaning rods. I keep calling it gas tube, it's not a gas tube. Now all of this cost me very little. All this cost me very, very little indeed, so I'm happy with it. Most of it was junk that I had lying around for other stuff. I did have to spend a little bit of money on a few things, but realistically, really to get a fucking cleaner rod on there, looks a bit shit with that, doesn't it? But yeah. That is actually what you can do if you put the time and effort in. I probably should have fixed some guns for people, but technically I was still on holiday till Sunday, and I came back on fucking Thursday. So, needed something to perk me up a little bit. This is what I did. Had a bit of fun. And for that guy that saw my quick video of how my sad loser room is coming along, who said, "You need more AKs." Yeah, well, guess what? Fuck you.
Something else I don't normally get to do, and it's kind of my preferred fucking airsoft thing, to be honest. This is a customer gun. No internal work whatsoever, just aesthetic work. It's an LCT. The job is to make it look as realistic and brutal as possible, but not in that dickhead way where you just scuff it up with wire wool. No, actually make it so it looks like it's worn. And there's a particular art to that. This gun was mint when it came out of the box. And the trick is to make it seem like it's actually been firing. So I've added stuff, bits of grit and things, and attached them so they are permanent. Scalding, scorching to the heat shield there. As you can see, more scalding. Flash hider, same thing. Adding a bit of a powder burned look to it. The wood on LCTs are fucking lovely, so I just kind of left it. I've manually worn down the entire finish, to be honest. All by hand. No wire wool and shit like that, just buffing and buffing and buffing. And these are little bits of attention to detail that I love doing to AKs and anything that's steel, galili stuff. It's the small amounts of attention to detail. Now you don't want loads of shit getting inside your gun, so you can't just leave it all dusty, but you can make the dust a bit more permanent. Differences in tarnishing. And not a drop of paint used. Cool, right?